Hey guys, Dummy24 here with another live commentary. This time I'm going to be playing a few games in my StuG. So far I've done an episode on the Panther, I've done an episode on the Tiger P, I've done an episode on the VK4502. This time I'm going to do it on the old StuG, the old tank destroyer. This tank destroyer is probably my second most favorite tank in the game. I mean, you can see I only have German tanks. I've only played with the German tanks, but my second favorite tank in the game, second to only the Panther. And, well, to put it simply, this tank is pretty boss. I'm not gonna lie. If you're looking for a fun time, it's a pretty speedy tank. The hit points are only 350. It's a tier 5. 350 hit points. As you can see, there's not much armor to it. The shells do about 100 damage. 101 to 170 roughly. Decent pen for tier 5. The rate of fire on this thing is like I think 2 seconds. We'll get into a game with it shortly. About 2 seconds. I have on here, of course, I have all the upgrade stuff. Some people will run the tier 5 105 with it. That's kind of a derp gun for it. It really comes down to preference. The only problem with that 105 is the pen on that is 64, 150, 53. So you really got to get a side or rear shot. It's a good gun if you're going to be in like a city or something like that, but if you're not, then 64 pen on the front, not very good. But the 75 tier 6 gun, 150 pen, 194 and 38. That's a lot better pen, but obviously you're gonna be losing the damage. It's either or. But when you get in this thing, especially when you've been playing it for a while and you get a little bit more experience into it, you're gonna find yourself in a lot of high tier. Well, for you, you'd be a low tier, but a lot of higher tier matches, tier 7 games, sometimes tier 8. So it's better to have the extra pen, I believe, and it's a faster gun too. Now, as far as everything else, obviously you only get one turret because, well, it's not really a turret on it, but it's a tank destroyer. You can't change that. Upgraded engine. Upgraded engine on this thing really is pretty sweet because it pumps this thing all around the field. It's actually a pretty fast tank. Upgrade your suspension. I have the upgraded radio on there, but 415 is more than enough. 310 you could probably get away with it. It doesn't really matter. I put a camo net on mine, upgraded in the vents. You could probably also put like a binox on there, especially if you're going to have this kind of, or the upgraded 75, because you'll be mostly sniping with this tank from a distance. And obviously the camo is going to help you stay hidden longer and everything. And if you see over here, I have all the guys working on camo, except the commanders working on mentor. That's pretty much my standard thing, especially for tank destroyers. All tank destroyers, you really want camo first, and then you worry about maybe like repair or something else after that. And yeah, you basically, like I said, you wanna. It's almost like I'm almost like a repeating record or whatever the heck it's called. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but a broken record. I'm almost like a broken record because, like, every single one of these German tanks, I tell you to snipe in them. That they're support tanks, and that's honestly pretty much all they're good for. I mean, if you're top tier, the top tier, you can get up in there and brawl a little bit more. But these tanks shine when you snipe with them. So with that, let's get into a game here, and I'll see you when we get in the game. I'm not gonna waste time for the countdown. Okay, we got about 4 seconds left. If you notice, first thing right off the bat, this is basically a tier 5 game. Each side has one tier 6. The reload, I thought it was faster than 4 seconds. I thought it was like a 2-second. No, that must be 2-second reloads are like the British tanks, the British Churchills and stuff like that. I think are 2-second reloads. 4-second reload. That's not bad. This thing pumps them out. I'll tell you what. At 4.2 seconds, and I'm using Jimbo's mod. I don't know if a lot of you guys use that or whatnot, but you can't really see it right there. But right there, 4.21 seconds. This thing is pumping out the lead. I'll tell you what. and it's, while it only does 100 damage, you know, 100 damage every 4 seconds adds up pretty fast. And this thing's kind of a sleeper tank. There's not too many people, you know, like I say, you gotta snipe with it because not only the weak damage, and it's just a better sniping tank with, and then the hit points, doesn't have very many hit points, so you can't get in there, and it is a tank destroyer after all, and that's the way you play them. But the thing about it is, like, a lot of people they just kind of disregard it. They're like, oh, there's KV, I'm gonna work on that guy instead. But you can do a lot of damage on guys before they even pay too much attention to you. It's kind of strange that they don't think, oh, it's just a little tank destroyer. What can he do? Well, this thing can actually do quite a bit.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
And like I was saying, I do have Jimbo's mod on there, and I like it for the different. I like it for the dot, this dot reticle, and all that kind of cool stuff. And you can see Artie's keying in on me, so yeah, I got hit from the side. Yeah, that's good.
We're lucky it didn't blow. We hit them hard.
Yeah, that happens when you don't have backup on one side. That's kind of what happens. See, what happened is we had nobody to protect on this route right here, and I should have known better. That was stupid on my part, because I saw the guy come down the hill and I was too focused on the other ones in front of me. That's teaching point. Don't focus so much on the enemy in front of you to forget about what else is going on, because that's what I did there. Totally forgot that I saw that guy come down the hill and I could get flanked. Wasn't paying attention to my map, and then I got flanked. So, well, that sucked, but I'll see you guys in the next game real quick. Okay guys, we're getting into another game here. This one's on Sand River Encounter. What I like to do on this one, especially since I'm going to have the StuG, I'm going to go up towards this, like this mountainish area up here. If you can control that high ground, you can kind of control the battle that happens right here on the map. There's a hill, you can see it right here. One side of the team will sit on one side of the hill. You know, the enemy team will sit over on in this case the western side, and our team will sit on the eastern side. If you can get on top of that hill and kind of shoot down on there, everybody's right out in the open. You know, you can keep a spot on them and just keep plugging away at them and try to take over that center battle. That's why I like to come up to the top on this one. And in my opinion, this is one of those maps where you control the center by controlling a flank. You know what? If you understand what I'm saying. I told you before in my other episode that this is chess, not checkers. And what I meant by that was you gotta control the center of the so-called board. Well, the center of the board on this one is controlled. The key to it, I believe, is this top part. You control this mountain up here in the north, then you control the center. Uh-oh. That's bad news bears for that guy.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
See, that's what I mean. It's only 100 damage, but if you get 100 damage on you every 4 seconds, especially with these lower tiers, where there's not a lot of hit points on them. Oh, I don't know how I missed that guy. And this gun is crazy accurate, too. That's another thing about the German guns, is that they're all very accurate. The Panther is really accurate. I've scored hits from insane distances on it. 400, 500 meters, some even up to 600 meters.
Enemy is hit. Let's roll. We didn't even scratch him.
Let's back off a little bit. They both must be on fire. Oh, the one's on fire. Yeah. See, this guy's driving a KV like everybody drives KVs. Right out in the open.
They're hit.
If I don't get derped here. Probably went too far down the hill. Just back a little.
Looks like that one went right through. We've hit them hard.
I want to try to track that guy so I can keep him off my buddy.
Got him.
But I suppose it doesn't matter anymore. Now that we have the top, we can kind of just... Whoops! Well, that's no good.
Punch right through their armor.
The other nice thing about this is it's got a low silhouette, so if you can get behind...
Bail out.
Nah, wasn't close enough behind it, but if you can get underneath like a little rolling hill or a defilade or something, it's just enough. If you look at it, it's not a very tall tank. It could be just enough. I should have stayed back a little bit to try to hold it, but... See, the way you want to do this map, especially on a counter, because the flag is in the middle like that, if you can control the top and then roll down on them, meaning, you know, you kind of get a stalemate here in the center, you get a little bit of a stalemate towards the flag, but if you control the mountain up here, or what I want to call the mountain, and then you can roll down on them, turn their flank, and just run them over, steamroll them. And you run over the middle, and then you run over the guys on the cap or on the flag. Same thing if you were the approach from the opposite team. You'd hold them off in the middle, and then you'd be basically right in their spawn, and you just run right down over the top of them. That's the strategy I like to try to advocate for in this map, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. See, on this one we controlled the we controlled the top, but they were on the cap. They started pushing pressuring us to react quickly because they were capping the whole time. We had just Cromwell and I had just basically secured the north, and they were already on like 60 on the cap. So sometimes that happens, you know. We'll see how I did at the end of that with 2 kills. Kind of machine gunned. Can't speak. I machine gunned that. I think it was a KV3 there, and he got a couple good shots on me. But let's see how I did for the XP and whatnot. 400. Let's see. Team score. That's what I want to do. Okay, second place. I mean, and what do you know? The Cromwell was #1. You know, for tier 5 in a tier 7 game, to get second place, not bad. Not bad. I suppose I can't be too disappointed by that. The other thing about the tier 5s in particular, I really think they're a lot of fun, because you can kind of fly around a little bit more, and everybody's kind of a little bit more loose and not necessarily sitting back and, I don't want to say camping because that's not the correct. I'm a strong advocate for defense, but it's a slower game when you get to the higher tiers, but in a tier 5 you can play at a much faster speed. And the other thing about the tier 5s is it doesn't cost very much for ammo, it doesn't cost very much to repair it, and you can get some major credits. So if you want to turn out credits, tier 5s is where it's at least I believe anyway. So with that, let's get into one more game here, and I'll see you guys when we get in. Okay, this one's a tier 5 game, which is I'm obviously high tier. This one you could probably get away with using that 105, the tier 5 105. Since it's a little bit more constricted with the buildings and whatnot, you could probably get some side shots and some rear shots on people, but like the last map, Sand River, you probably should not be having the 105 on that. But one of the problems is you select the tank and then you just get placed into a game. So it's kind of hard to optimize your tank for the map when you don't even know what the map is. So, you know, you kind of gotta guess. You know, just what do you think is gonna happen or whatnot in that respect. Which I think is, you know, it's good on one hand, but it's bad on the other. You know, there's a lot of good things about World of Tanks, a lot of good things that they've done. The graphics are amazing, the gameplay is pretty good, the maps are really good. But there's a lot to be desired at the same time. You know, as much as I like the whole idea and concept of driving World War II era tanks, it's kind of disappointing that the German line, anyway, the German tanks seem to be much weaker than, say, well, actually much weaker than basically every other faction, I believe, or every other nation. More often than not, it seems to me that German tanks actually rather suck. And the exception is, like, the StuG, the WoT Panther, but most of the tanks are just kind of leave a lot to be desired.
We've just dinged him.
Whereas for the other nations,
Penetration.
it's kind of like every tank is good except you have a couple junky ones along the way. Of course, I'm just saying that I don't have a ton of experience with the other tanks. I'm kind of just going off of what I've heard,
Nice shot.
because I obviously, as I've said before, I don't use those tanks.
That's gotta hurt.
See, this is where that's nice to have that low silhouette.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Be nice if I could. It's gotta be a British tank. Yeah. I can't sit there with that guy anymore. That's where it's nice to have that low silhouette like that, so I could just barely stick my head over, or stick the top of my tank over the wall there to get a few shots on him. But so now he's moving out. Let's see if I can get something on this Hetzer. Nope. Where is he? Oh, I'm not gonna be able to see this guy. Well, I can kind of see him.
Enemy is hit.
That Hetzer, you gotta watch out for that thing too, because that thing has a derp gun on it.
Penetration. That's gotta hurt.
He's gonna get one more shot. Let's see if I can.
The track is damaged.
Oh, come on!
We didn't penetrate their armor. The engine is damaged.
See, those should have been. There's like, I don't know how many times I hit the AT4, AT5, and just pen no damage, and hit the Hetzer 2% health, and I bounce it. But whatever, right? See, that's another thing I don't. I mean, the game was a lot of fun, and like I said, there's a lot of things they could change on it. Pen no damage all the time just really just kills me. The same maps, that's something else they could change. You know, come up with some new maps once in a while. That'd be a lot of fun too. They could have some game modes, like I think a great idea would be to have some sort of game mode where it's like authentic battles, like you're playing the Battle of Kursk, and you could choose either the German or the Russian side. This is pretty cool right here. This guy's got like 8 tanks around him or something, but you choose either one of those sides, like the Russian side or the German side, and you get in one of those tanks and you're kind of flying around on the map. That's something else that they could do. I mean, there's a lot of things that are good with the game, but there's a lot of things that they could fix. Second place with 170 XP is not very good, which goes to show quite a bit for the rest of my teammates. But anyway, that's just to show you guys a little bit about the StuG. Once I get some better gameplay, I'll post like a single game instead of the live commentary. It's kind of difficult to talk about everything and still pay attention at the same time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the StuG. Let me know what you think about World of Tanks. If you think that there's stuff that the developers could fix, especially I like to hear from you guys if you think the German tanks are garbage compared to the other nations. I mean, that's just my theory on it, and I've heard a lot of other people say that too. But I like to, I guess, poll the audience to see what you guys think as well. So, with that, please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.